This USL Championship season is just about ready to begin. Starting lineups and kickoff next. Ready to begin. Starting lineups and kickoff next. One of the unique features in all the USL Championship, the Birmingham Legion Forge. They get sent off every time Legions score. The home side supporters hoping that Forge gets plenty of work tonight as Legion welcome in North Carolina FC. From the south side of downtown Birmingham, there's BBVA Field, our host for tonight's matchup in the USL Championship between North Carolina FC and Birmingham Legion FC. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into our broadcast booth. Blake Gardner joined by Mike Getman, excited to bring you more Saturday night action in the USL Championship. And Mike, the second time these two teams have met should be a good one. The first one was.
First game was a draw in North Carolina. It was a great match. Both teams had lots of chances. I expect this one to be another great game.
Should be plenty of action on this Saturday night. And as we get a look at our key faces, our key players to watch this evening, let's start with the visitors first. North Carolina FC have been led by Stephen Miller, who's played one of his best years of soccer so far in this first half.
He's not the best known player that they've had throughout the years, but he's getting it done this season. Lots of assists, lots of goals. He's a real grinder, a hard-working guy who just seems to get it done.
He's played everything from defense to midfield, now does most of his work on the wing here in 2019, and he's been a key piece of this North Carolina attack. On the other side for Birmingham Legion, they've got a wealth of attacking options all of a sudden. Brian Wright, though, is going to play a key part, we expect, at least tonight going forward.
For a whole bunch of games this season, Brian Wright has been the man up top. He's big, he's powerful, he scores goals, he holds the ball up, he helps his team in a lot of ways. He's going to have a big impact one way or another tonight.
Birmingham Legion welcome in J.J. Williams to the fold as well tonight, but it's been Wright who's been the main partner with Chandler Hoffman over the last few weeks of this first half of the USL Championship season. Both sides have played their first 17 contests in this 2019 campaign. North Carolina above the playoff line, Birmingham Legion trying to join them there. The second half of this USL Championship season is just about ready to begin. Starting lineups and kickoff next.
BBVA, transforming banking to put the world's opportunities in your hands. BBVA Compass is now BBVA, creating opportunities.
Coors Light is cold filtered for brightness and clarity. The world's most refreshing beer, Coors Light.
Welcome back to BBVA Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Just about ready for Birmingham Legion FC against North Carolina FC. Time to look at each side's starting 11s, and we'll begin with the visitors from Raleigh, North Carolina. North Carolina FC. And Mike, what stands out to you when you look at this 4-5-1?
Well, I think there's a couple things. First of all, we've already talked about Stephen Miller. He's a real workhorse on the left side of midfield, gets up and down and creates a lot of goals. I think Alex Tambakis in the goal has had a fantastic season, and he'll play a big part in the game tonight. And then Iwolo up top has been just a beast of a man, holds the ball up, allows the midfield to join the attack. I think those three are going to be the real keys for this team.
Just one change for North Carolina FC over their last contest against Charlotte. That's Timmy Bell, who slots in to the back for North Carolina. On the other side for Birmingham Legion, a few different changes tonight and a couple of new faces inserted as well for head coach Tommy Sohn.
It's always nice to see J.J. Williams back in town and back on the field. He's been a big player in the games he's been here for, so it's nice to have him in town. Zach Arivo back in the lineup after spending the last month with the Haitian national team at the Gold Cup. So great to see both of those guys back. And then Daigo Kobayashi, who's had a really good season so far. Looks like he'll be holding down the defensive midfield position.
Back four instead of a back three for Birmingham Legion FC tonight, back at home and just about ready to go. There's Dave Sarakin, the head coach of North Carolina FC, occupying that left sideline tonight, the former interim head coach to the U.S. men's national team in his first year at the helm of this North Carolina FC club. He's joined by Tommy Sohn on the opposite sideline, the head man of Birmingham Legion. 52-year-old has also had some time in the MLS with Columbus Crew, DC United, and Chicago Fire. Just about ready to go tonight. There's our head man, Luis Guardia, the Texas State grad, gets his 8th USL Championship head referee assignment tonight, and we are underway for the Magic City. Birmingham Legion in black tops, North Carolina in white.
Good start already as Legion plays big ball over the top, and J.J. Williams putting pressure on the defense, earns a corner kick just 15 seconds into the match.
Can't ask for much more than that. Looks like Chandler Hoffman is over that far flag to take it for Birmingham Legion. As the home side force numbers forward. A low-driven ball towards the front post. Kasim tried to get a flick, and it looks like he got the last flick as well, as that's out over the end line for a goal kick.
That looked to be a play that's been practiced before. That was not a miss-hit ball. That was a low-driven ball looking to let it skip past the near post. Didn't quite work out.
That's going to sail out of play. Legion throw coming as North Carolina FC tried to play out of the back. And Mike, we expect to see that quite a bit tonight for the visitors.
North Carolina is definitely a team that wants to keep possession. They want to play out of the back. They can be a little risky sometimes, but that's what they do, and they've been very successful all season with it. I think we'll also see Legion FC trying to hold the ball. Certainly it's easier to defend when you're in possession than when the other team has the ball. So I'm sure that that's going to be part of the Legion plan for this evening.
Good spell of possession here from Legion. Kasim lets fly, and it sails through harmlessly. An early look for Prosper Kasim, man who's created the most chances of anybody in black and gold so far this year, 24 to be exact. As North Carolina quickly restart play with Tambakis kicking the goal kick short. Kasim tries to bring it down, does so. First touch for Zach Aravo tonight. And Legion once again with another extended spell of possession. It was North Carolina FC who had the majority of the ball the last time these two teams played in Cary back in May. Almost a 60-40 advantage in that regard for North Carolina FC. North Carolina just couldn't turn that extra possession into a goal. That match ended in a 0-0 draw, despite the fact that each side had their chances. North Carolina had a few more, including a couple of chances that rattled the woodwork.
I'm sure North Carolina felt a little bit unlucky in that game, but I expect this to be a little bit different match. First of all, Legion have had 2 months more together. They've played a lot more games together now. They know what they're about. They're also an almost completely healthy team. They've got more players available to them. And this lineup tonight, I think, is probably about as skillful a team as they could put on the field. So there's an awful lot of technical players for Legion FC. Their ability to hold the ball, I think, will be better tonight than it was back in May.
An early second corner as Sam Brotherton had to head that over the end line on the driven ball from Femi Hollinger-Jansen, who is playing yet another different position tonight for Birmingham Legion. He's playing everything from striker partner to winger to center back. He's the right back tonight as Kasim takes the corner short. Lofted ball towards the top of the area. That's headed just out of danger. And now the job is finally cleared away. Legion asking some questions of North Carolina's defense early on in this one, as Kasim's not going to be able to run that one down.
You don't get any points for corner kicks, but it does tell you a little bit about who's being put under pressure and whether you're playing in your opponent's end of the field or not. And so 2 corners in the first 3 minutes is certainly a good sign for this Legion team.
North Carolina looking for a foothold here, and it gives us a chance to look at our keys to the match. Coach, let's start with what North Carolina is trying to do tonight.
Well, North Carolina defends as a team, and if they can stay compact, they're awfully hard to break down. And they obviously want to score early. Every game that they've scored in the first half, they've won, and so that's certainly the keys for them. For Legion FC, scoring first will be important. They've played from behind so often. If they can score the first one, it'll help an awful lot with their confidence. And then I think if they control possession, then they can control how this game is played, and that will certainly increase their likelihood of winning tonight.
Van Oekel not troubled on his near post there, as that shot was wide of that left stick. First touch for the captain tonight, Matt Van Oekel, the 32-year-old, who makes his 7th straight starts in goal for Birmingham Legion. Legion trying to play out of the back under some pressure here in the corner, and it's given away. Iwalo goes down, referee waves it off, says play on, and now a goal kick coming.
I know that Legion want to keep possession, and we were just talking about how that's one of the keys to the match for them, but Matthew Laurent took a little bit of a risk there playing a ball to Daigo Kobayashi under a lot of pressure, awfully close to the goal. Sometimes it's just wiser to get the ball up the field and battle for it in midfield rather than take those risks in the back.
Both sides now have tried to play out of the back off goal kicks, and with middling results, if that, as Van Oekel sends everybody forward and sends it that direction. Run down by Chester. Chester's pass cut out by Arivo. Now a chance to go forward for Legion. Here's Chandler Hoffman on his preferred left. Cuts it inside for Kasim. Kasim waiting for some support and gets some. Johnson all the way back to Kyle Fisher. First touch of the night for Fisher. He gets some width from Hollinger Jansen.
It's been a long time since we've seen Kyle Fisher and Matthew Laurent on the field together. Early in the season, that was a pairing we saw almost every weekend.
Williams off the woodwork. A well-driven ball from Culbertson, and Williams almost put Legion in front.
Great opportunity, great header from J.J. Williams. Just 2 inches too high, or it would have found the back of the net.
An early golden opportunity for Legion. That's almost cashed in. Still working forward as the home side. Johnson trying to switch the play out wide. Hollinger Jansen not going to get there.
A little too much on that ball, but you can see what Daniel Johnson was trying to do. He's playing a little bit on the left side, trying to switch it over to the right. There's the cross from Kyle Culbertson. What a good header. Just unlucky to have it bounce off the crossbar.
Well, the first time these two teams met, we talked about it. It was North Carolina FC that were struggling with the woodwork. Early on in this one, it's Legion who find the bar. Kasim off the throw. Good defense played by Graham Smith. Now a chance to move forward for North Carolina. This is Chester. Chester trying to work around Laurent. Cuts it inside, just able to keep his feet. And keep possession as well under pressure. Chester, the 24-year-old, playing through to Iwalo. Flag stays down. Iwalo shot right at Van Oekel.
Good chance for North Carolina. Didn't get all of that shot, but you can see the danger that Iwalo presents. He's a big man, but he's got pace, can get behind, and certainly can strike a ball when he's in on goal.
Speaking of good pace, here comes Duvernay up the left flank. Waiting for a runner. Now cuts it back inside for Spies, who waits for Fortune. Fortune lets fly off Laurent. Still North Carolina with options, as Brotherton gets a touch, and now Aaron Guillen. Circled all the way back around to Timmy Mell, who makes his first USL Championship start of his career tonight. The Indiana product, the two-time All-Big Ten selection. Found only the waiting arms of Matt Van Oekel on that lofted ball. Both sides with early chances so far tonight at BBVA Field. South side of downtown Birmingham. Thanks for joining us tonight on this Saturday night in the USL Championship. Blake Gardner alongside Mike Getman. Been an up and down first 9 minutes plus between these two sides.
Both teams working hard to establish their ability to possess the ball. They've both tried to work it from the back through midfield and then create chances from there. Legion FC have certainly had the best chance of the night so far with that header off the crossbar by J.J. Williams.
North Carolina once again trying to build from the back here. Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Bell under pressure with Williams, and he might have just given it away. Slide from Guillen is just able to ricochet it far enough away from Williams, who takes down Mel. And now a little extracurriculars between the two has Williams on the turf.
I'm not sure what happened there to J.J. Williams. It looked like the two of them were talking to each other, a little jawing back and forth. But J.J. obviously feeling something.
Bit of a collision there after the deflection. And it looks like Williams is down holding his midsection. Mel might have got him going by.
It also could have been part of the tackle. It looked like a little bit of an awkward tackle, and certainly Mel didn't see J.J. Williams coming from behind, so he may have caught a cleat or something on the follow through. But either way, J.J. Williams is back up and hopefully okay.
Nothing from referee Luis Guardia, just a stern talking for both of them. Guardia's handed out his fair share of cards so far this year, 30 of them to be exact have been yellow, and 3 more have been red. Iwalo able to control. Lays it off for Fortune, who switches across to Duvernay, North Carolina State product. Has started now 4 of the last 5 matches for North Carolina. This is Spies trying to play it through. Hollinger Jansen cuts it out.
Nice touch from J.J. holding it up, connecting with the midfield players. That's going to be an important part of his game tonight. He's got to be the target that Legion can play into, and then he's got to hold the ball long enough that he can drop it off to one of the midfielders coming forward.
Here's Kobayashi on the near touchline, playing towards the direction of Chandler Hoffman, who's able to bring it down. Just couldn't quite keep it in his grasp as Brotherton was able to send it towards his midfield. Here's our highlighted man tonight, Stephen Miller. And Duvernay once again joining the attack. Miller able to turn. Miller looks inside. Hoffman is there. Williams, nice hold up. Hoffman plays it back to Culbertson. Injury report tonight brought to you by Viva Health. North Carolina FC only 17 available this evening. They're missing Marios Lomas once again, out with an ankle injury. Go along with Alex Comcia, who is out with what is officially being described as a head injury. On the other side for Birmingham Legion, they're without Gael Mabiala, who was ruled out earlier this week with an ankle injury, but they do get back Zach Irivo, who has spent the last month playing with Haiti in the 2019 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Haiti bowed out to the eventual champions Mexico in the biannual tournament. Kobayashi wins the ball in the midfield. Now has numbers joining him. Nicely done. Here's Irivo. Irivo has Kasim. Kasim's onside. His shot is deflected out of play.
For just a moment, they had a 3-on-2 break, but North Carolina got back very quickly and got numbers behind the ball to slow things down.
Key deflection in there by Brotherton, and then it's Guillen who cuts out the shot. And another Legion corner coming. Their 3rd already tonight in the first quarter hour. It'll be Kobayashi to swing it in, the 36-year-old from Japan, making his 9th start tonight. Legion crowding the 6-yard box. His delivery is a good one. It falls right in front of the area. North Carolina, though, able to work it clear.
Great service by Daigo. Put it right in that danger zone, right at the edge of the 6. Goalkeeper, it's hard to come and get that ball. Lots of big bodies in the way. Nobody could get on the end to knock it in.
Good ball delivered out front to Free Duvernay. One-on-one on the flank against Femi Hollinger-Jansen. Duvernay cuts it inside, looking for options. Driven ball to Fortune. Out wide to Yamakani Chester. Still Chester. Plays it off for Mel. Mel looking for Iwalo, tried to flick it into the run of Chester. Nicely done by Laurent to combine with Kobayashi. Quarter hour gone between Birmingham Legion and North Carolina FC. Still scoreless between the two sides. And fans, don't forget, you can find all the Legion FC information in one place. Download the Legion FC app today, available on both iOS and Android platforms. That's the Legion FC app, the only app that says hammer down. Johnson trying to play it through. Kasim made a good run. It looked to be in an onside position.
Really dangerous ball. Just couldn't quite squeeze it through the gap. North Carolina did a nice job of getting people in the way.
Harivo to Hoffman. That's Fortune who plays it towards Smith. Now North Carolina going forward.
Chandler Hoffman looks like he's hurting. He's gone down on one knee. I'm not sure what happened on that last play, but he immediately signaled to the bench that he needed a substitution.
North Carolina recognize that now and play it into touch as Hoffman holds that left knee. And not a good sign for Birmingham Legion fans. Chandler Hoffman, the hometown hero from right here in Birmingham. The first ever Alabama player drafted in the MLS Super Draft. He's scored 4 times so far this year to lead the club. And right now down injured in the 17th.
He signaled to the bench that he needed a change. We'll see what the trainer says. I would expect that Eddie Opoku would be the likely substitution for him. Could also be Brian Wright. Eddie gives a little more quickness and running in behind, and Brian Wright gives you a second big body to hold up balls and battle in the air. So we'll see what Coach Sohn decides to do here.
There you see what you were talking about, Mike. Almost as soon as Guillen got Hoffman in the back of the left leg, he signaled over saying that he needed a substitution.
He doesn't look to be in great pain, but it's definitely the left knee that they're checking out.
It is Eddie Opoku along with Brian Wright that are both getting warm for Birmingham Legion right now as Hoffman gingerly makes his way towards the Legion dugout. And we'll see if he is able to continue tonight. Fans, Birmingham Legion entrusts the care of its athletes to UAB's sports medicine team, and you should too. All of our doctors are fellowship trained and have extensive experience caring for patients of all ages. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a competitive athlete, come see UAB Sports Medicine so we can help you get you back to your active lifestyle.
Looks like it's Brian Wright getting his jersey on, so the substitution is going to be made in just a moment here. Brian Wright coming on for Chandler Hoffman.
Tough break for the home side, forced to use one of their substitutions so early in this one.
The first 15 minutes really had gone according to plan for Legion FC. They were keeping possession well, hadn't given up anything too dangerous, and they had been very dangerous both on corner kicks and other situations, even heading one off the post. So it's a shame to see any change have to be made at this point.
Legion playing down a man for the moment. As Mel finds some space here on the right flank, opts to play it back towards Aaron Guillen, the 26-year-old from El Paso, Texas. Smith under pressure gives it away, but a late whistle as Kasim is called for the foul. And Legion not waiting any longer to make that switch as Brian Wright comes onto the field here in the 20th minute. Legion make their first change and are now back to a full 11. As we await a report from the sideline as to the severity of Hoffman's injury. If he can't continue tonight, obviously not a great sign.
He did head straight to the locker room as well. He didn't sit down on the bench. He just walked straight down the sideline and into the locker room area. So I'm sure they'll do a thorough examination once they get him inside.
So Wright, the new Legion striker, the 24-year-old from Ajax, Ontario. As Hollinger Jansen finds Kasim in the midfield, plays it right back to him.
Legion have lost their best finisher and their most experienced striker, but they did get bigger and even faster. This is a pretty quick team all over the field. Brian Wright, an excellent athlete as well, so they did get bigger and faster as the change was made.
Here's Kyle Fisher working himself into the midfield, out wide for Hollinger Jansen. Trying to play it through, just couldn't connect with Arevo, and it's Tambakis who's out to collect. 26-year-old from Athens, Greece, has been excellent in between the sticks for North Carolina in the first half of this season. As has really the majority of this North Carolina defense, Mike. We talked to Coach Sarakin in the midweek, and he's been really excited about how organized his defense has been. As Kasim plays it through to Williams, it looked like he was offside. Flag now does go up.
Really late flag, drives fans and players crazy, but the assistant referee doing the right thing, waiting to see if the player was in fact involved in the play.
Another giveaway in their own half from North Carolina. Williams flicks it into the path of Kasim, but it was cut out nicely by Smith. North Carolina's defense has been one of the best in the Eastern Conference so far this year. They've given up 14 goals through their first 17 contests. For some context, Legion have given up 18 in the last 6 matches alone, but they're moving forward here. Hollinger Jansen down the right flank, plays an early ball in, but only at Tambakis.
If you're giving up less than a goal a game, you're a really good defensive team. And this North Carolina team defends extremely well as a group. They get a lot of players back defensively. They're hard to break down, but then they got a great goalkeeper in Tambakis behind the whole group. So when mistakes are made, they've got a guy who can make that big save when needed.
Throw in coming for North Carolina. Ualo was going to take it, but now he leaves it for Mel. Here's Smith. Plays it across. Duvernay couldn't quite keep it in play. Almost the halfway points of this first half between Birmingham Legion and North Carolina. Mike, do you think both sides fairly happy with the performances on either side?
Well, I think both teams are, I'm not sure if I'd say happy. Legion probably is happy. They've given up a lot of early goals the last month or two of the season, and so I think they're very happy that they have not conceded. They've created good chances, and they've had at least their share of possession. North Carolina, I'm sure they're happy they haven't given up a goal, but they have not created much so far. And if they want to break down this Legion team, they're going to have longer stretches of possession than what they've had so far.
Johnson trying to play the switch. It's a bit behind Hollinger Jansen, who couldn't keep it in play. A big old hop off the turf. Evaded the former Gatorade Player of the Year in Indiana.
They did water this field pretty heavily just before the match, and so there's going to be some skips that maybe catch players by surprise once in a while.
Thought we might get a little bit of rain tonight as well, but fingers crossed. So far, so good from downtown Birmingham tonight.
Lots of cloud cover, but so far that's just keeping the temperature mild, allowing these players to enjoy a pretty nice evening so far.
For July in the Deep South, certainly not bad at all, and even 80 degrees at kickoff. The Magic City, and it'll get down a little bit cooler than that, we expect, as the night wears on. Arivo, Williams tried to connect. In the end, Guillen sends it forward. Williams brings it down again. Excellent first touch to beat one man. Couldn't beat the second, though. And it ends with Graham Smith. That's been the challenge for a lot of teams against North Carolina FC. How do you generate chances against a team that's been so good at the back end?
You could see there were two moments. One, a nice little combination play between Arivo and Brian Wright that almost came off. And then you saw J.J. Williams by himself with a nice move, almost got past the defense. So two different ways to break down a defense. Legion are trying a number of different ways, and they've been close.
That time they tried to play directly towards the run of Brian Wright. Pass from Daniel Johnson a bit too heavy. North Carolina still trying to develop some meaningful possession. Graham Smith sinks back here deep. Try to orchestrate from in between the center backs. 25-year-old played his college soccer at the University of South Florida. Good run by Duvernay into space. Duvernay is freed on the left flank. Arivo tried to track back. Fisher got a piece. A shot ricochets, and a great save by Van Oekel.
Really good attack, dangerous opportunity, and a great save by Matt Van Oekel.
Van Oekel had to go down and to his left to deny Stephen Miller, whose left-footed shot was surely on frame. Arguably the best chance North Carolina FC have had tonight. It leads to their first corner of the evening. Trey Fortune's the one to take it towards the near post. It was flicked by Brotherton. Over the inline, just a goal kick coming. Brotherton a little bit shaken up as well. As Van Oekel puts it down. 33 saves now in the season for Matt Van Oekel. It once again wears the captain's armband tonight for this Legion side. Hollinger Jansen gives it away. Iwalu almost ran onto it. Well done by Laurent. Cut out the chance. And Williams does well to hold it up for Daniel Johnson. He's pushed from behind. Referee says play on. Interesting. North Carolina back the other direction. And a crunching slide tackle by Kobayashi halts play and draws a whistle. Two men are down. Kobayashi is one of them, along with Ben Spees.
Looked like a really good tackle to me. Came from the side, got the ball. Player went over him after he'd gotten the ball. Dave Serikin on the NCFC bench disagrees and is certainly letting the referee have an earful. But from our vantage point, that looked like a really good but hard tackle.
First set piece opportunity for North Carolina, excluding that corner they just had. It's Fortune once again who stands over it against a three-man wall. Lofted ball towards the area, only finds Matt Van Oekel. Hasn't been too terribly physical early on, but certainly a chippy spell there. As Brian Wright can't run onto that one. Caleb Duvernay was there to usher it out of play. Fans, this is the Summer of Soccer here at downtown Birmingham, presented by Pepsi and Birmingham Mountain Radio, and it continues next Saturday, July 20th, when Birmingham Legion FC host Atlanta United 2 at 7 o'clock local time. Come early, enjoy festivities in the pregame plaza beginning at 5:30, and cheer on Legion FC. Get your tickets today at bhmlegion.com or on the Legion FC app. That's next Saturday, July 20th at 7 o'clock Central. Arivo with a tough challenge, and that draws another whistle as Stephen Miller hits the deck. Miller, our highlighted player this evening. Had the one really good chance. Other than that, hasn't had too terribly many touches. Legion tracking him almost man-to-man at points down that flank.
I think that's why we're seeing Femi Hollinger-Jensen on that side of the field as a defender tonight. They wanted someone with the size and athleticism.
Chester's ball sent out by Laurent. Second corner coming for North Carolina.
Wanted to make sure that Miller wasn't having a major impact and that there was somebody who could deal with him, because he does a really good job when the ball comes down the right side of the field. Miller loves to get into the box and find loose balls and crosses coming in. He's been very dangerous when balls are on the opposite side of the field. So far, Femi's done a pretty good job with him.
Fortune, a low-driven ball. Arivo sends it away. North Carolina still with numbers forward. A chance to perhaps loft it in towards the area. That's exactly what Duvernay does. Laurent heads it down. North Carolina still with it. Still have a couple of big bodies forward. Fortune cuts it inside. Out wide for Chester. Chester gets the cross away. Laurent sends it right back where it came from. Chester brings it down, though, against Johnson. Still Chester. Here's Stephen Miller. Miller out wide for Duvernay. Miller against Arivo. Gets the cross away towards the back post. Nobody home, and I don't think Kyle Culbertson knew that as he ushers it over the end line for a third corner.
He couldn't really afford to take the risk of letting that ball run. Much better off knock it out of bounds, let the whole team get back and defend, rather than take a chance and make a mistake right in front of your own goal.
A little over a half hour gone. North Carolina FC, the team that's had more chances here recently. Can the pressure in the final third pay off for them? It's Ben Spies who's going to take this one, but before he takes this corner, Luis Guardia, referee, speaks with members of both sides near the top of the 18-yard box. Spies a good ball. It's headed away by Williams, only as far as Guillen. Guillen under pressure, sends it out wide. Tried to get it back. It falls for Iwalu. Iwalu lays it off. Shot blocked by Hollinger-Jansen.
Great block. Dangerous opportunity. Nice combination by NCFC. In the end, Hollinger-Jansen just got his body in front of everything.
Good work in tight spaces there. Iwalu laid it off well. Hollinger-Jansen up to the task, and this time Matt Van Oekel is up to the task of that delivery as well. Sure-handed keeper with a clean catch, and now he lets the bodies disperse before laying it off for Fisher. Legion certainly happy to have Kyle Fisher back in the lineup. 4 straight starts now since returning from midseason injury, as the home side try to anchor their back line. Laurent finds Brian Wright. The touch was too heavy. Now it's North Carolina FC in possession. Guillen with time.
Last 10 minutes or so, NCFC has done a better job of not just keeping possession.
Flag stays down, back post ball, nobody home, although it was an excellent run out of midfield from Fortune.
They've done a good job of not just holding possession, but making runs forward, playing balls into dangerous positions, not giving it away as quick as they were in the first 15 or 20 minutes of the match.
This is headed forward. Fisher opts to head it all the way back to Van Oekel. Well done in a testy moment there by the Clemson product. Culbertson looking to play it right up the sideline for Johnson. Guillen is able to beat him to it. And switches all the way across to Duvernay. Duvernay under pressure against Kassim, does well to hold it. Legion applying pressure, and Brotherton opts to send it forward. There's Kasim. A little bit of a shove, but no whistle from the referee, who by and large has let both sides play a little bit tonight. Here's Chester. Inside for Fortune. Fortune with plenty of space. Plays out wide, Duvernay. Duvernay cuts it inside. Lost it to Kobayashi. No foul given there either. North Carolina win it back deep in the attacking third. Here's Chester one-on-one against Culbertson. Cuts it inside. Kasim there to knock it away momentarily.
Really good help from Kasim and Daniel Johnson to help defensively. Culbertson was 1v1 with a very quick player, but help was there. The three of them handled it without much difficulty.
Here's Miller's left-footed ball. Matt Van Okel comes out to make that his. Plenty of pressure being applied by North Carolina. So far, Legion's defense up to the task. Fans, you can follow Birmingham Legion or North Carolina FC and the rest of this USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+, and watch the championship live every single week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Miller off his head, kept it in play, but it fell for Hollinger-Jansen. Now here's Aravo. Aravo working forward. Has Williams out to his right, opts to send it that direction. Williams' early ball is blocked. Nicely done by Caleb Duvernay. Duvernay, the 61st overall pick by the Timbers in the 2018 Super Draft. Portland Timbers, I should say. So far, a decent start for him. Hollinger-Jansen lofts it towards Williams. Williams able to bring it down. Still Williams, cuts it inside, but nobody there except for Aaron Guillen. Iwalo does well to turn, hold it up.
Iwalo did really well to hold the ball, break the pressure, allow NCFC to get a lot of players forward.
Both sides with big bodies up top. J.J. Williams on one side for Legion. Donovan Iwalo on the other side for North Carolina. Chester almost with a bit of trickery to get it over the top of Culbertson.
Chester hasn't had a chance to score or even finish yet, but he's been exciting to watch so far. A lot of little touches, little quick feet. You know, he's a great athlete. He's very fast, but it's the quickness of his feet with the ball that's been most impressive so far tonight.
Fortune lays it off for Miller. His flick in for Spees. Spees has his shot deflected just over the bar. Dangerous opportunity there.
Really dangerous opportunity. Matthew Laurent did a great job sliding to make the block, even off of the deflection. I think that ball bounced off the top of the crossbar.
Got Laurent and got a piece of the top netting at the very least. Another corner coming for North Carolina. Lofted ball, headed towards the back post. Here's Spees, second ball in. Still free in the area. Laurent finally sends it out of play for just a throw. Less than 7 minutes plus stoppage time till our first 45 is complete. From downtown Birmingham, still scoreless between North Carolina FC and Birmingham Legion FC. Laurent heads it away. And a throw coming for Birmingham Legion. Fans, when you're busy shuttling kids to and from school, soccer practice, and everything in between, and don't always have time to cook a healthy meal many evenings, keep you and your family out of the drive-thru with Meal Fit, the official food sponsor of Birmingham Legion FC. Meal Fit makes life easier and healthier with delicious and balanced home-cooked meals developed for life on the go. Learn more about Meal Fit and order now online at mealfit.co. That's mealfit.co as the flag is up against Donovan Iwalo. Free kick coming for Legion.
Get called for offsides on that play, but Matthew Laurent once again winning the ball in the air. He's won a lot of balls. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but I would guess Matthew Laurent has won about 50% of all the aerial duels just by himself. And then Legion FC overall have done a really good job whether it's Zach Ervo, Kyle Fisher, other guys winning those balls. They've been very good in the air defensively so far tonight.
Hollinger Jansen pushing forward, cuts it back. Williams just over the bar. Good stuff so far tonight from Femi Hollinger Jansen. Right back, not his usual position, but he's done well from that right flank, Mike.
Well, he spent his whole life being a forward and attacking player. This is what he loves to do. He may be starting as a right back, but he loves to get down the sideline, get into the attack, serve crosses, get on the end of crosses. So he's a very attack-minded defender, that's for sure.
Tambaka sends it forward. Kyle heads it out of play. Kyle Culbertson, you could hear head coach Tommy Sohn down there on our mic, field level.
Go ahead, JJ.
Tambaka's under pressure, sends it away. Culbertson got ahead to it once more. And Kobayashi able to bring it down. Surveys and finds Johnson. Johnson had to evade Chester, who tracked back quickly. Here's Culbertson. Back to Laurent. Towards Kassim, headed away by Brotherton. Johnson able to bring that down. And a foul given, a late whistle. But probably a warranted one for a high boot there.
Yeah, Daniel Johnson did a nice job of keeping possession even after the foul, but the referee made the call to just ensure that they still had possession.
41st minute, fans, don't forget, tune into ESPN3 on July 17th at 6 o'clock local time for Wednesday night soccer when North Carolina FC aims to stay near the top of the East, with the USL newcomers Loudoun United look to continue their ascent as Tambakis has to come out to collect that dangerous ball to a playoff spot. See it all July 17th at 6 o'clock local time on ESPN3. That's North Carolina FC and Loudoun United next week, July 17th.
And that last play is a really good ball headed back across by J.J. Williams. I think Prosper Kassim just isn't used to him being on the field. He hasn't been with this team for nearly a month, and he didn't anticipate that J.J. was going to win that ball, but J.J. wins an awful lot of balls in the air. He's a big man, but he's got great ups, and he's going to get on the end of almost everything.
Williams, a big body from Montgomery, Alabama. This is the first match he's played with Birmingham Legion since the last time these two teams met. Made 7 appearances so far this year for his parent club, the Columbus Crew. And quite a few in the month of June, with Jossie Zardes missing due to U.S. men's national team play in the Gold Cup. Flag stays down against Spies. His cross is deflected. Van Oekel with sure hands.
Last time we saw Matt Van Oekel a couple weeks ago, he looked like he might have been carrying an injury. Just looked a little stiff and awkward. Tonight he's looked loose and quick and come for a lot of balls and really commanded his area nicely. He looks, if not healthier, he certainly looks fresh and ready to go.
Talked to head coach Tom Sohn earlier in the week, and he was hoping that the week off did his team well. Legion haven't played in 2 weeks' time. They were off pretty much all of Independence Day weekend. So we're getting back to work and getting set for the second half beginning of this 2019 campaign. Williams wins his team another throw.
Legion had an unusual situation where they had that really 2-week break. You don't get that very often in the middle of a professional season, and so Coach Sohn made the choice to give the guys an extra few days to get away and rest and see their families. I think the mental rest as much as the physical has played a nice role so far tonight, where the team just looks really energetic and focused. Certainly they've played very well so far.
Long throw coming from Kyle Culbertson. Williams got ahead to it, but a foul is given inside the area.
I don't know what the call was there. Can't be offsides on a throw-in. JJ seemed to do a nice job of getting up and winning the first ball. So I don't know if there was something behind the play that was getting whistled, but
as we get a second look, and Looks like it was Williams that was the offending party into the back of Timmy Mell.
Well, if you don't let players battle for balls in the air, I'm not sure what the game's going to be, but the referee obviously thought JJ was just too physical on that play, but I liked his aggressiveness.
Mell able to bring that one down, but he can't connect with Chester, who was in an offside position anyway, according to the near linesman.
No, stop running your mouth about something that doesn't matter. Stop.
Now you hear conversations with the Legion bench and tonight's fourth official, Michael Smith, who has heard chatter from both sides here in this first half.
I think both coaches have been trying to get a little bit of an edge talking to the fourth official, but overall this official's done a really nice job. He's been consistent. You can argue one call here or there, but what's been a foul at one end has been a foul at the other, and when he didn't call something, he has been consistent and not called it throughout the match, so I think he's done a pretty good job.
Stoppage time tonight is brought to you by UAB Medicine. Our fourth official, Michael Smith, has indicated 2 minutes of stoppage time as our first yellow card is handed out of the evening for a late shove on Graham Smith. And I believe that is going to be charged to J.J. Williams. We'll see if we get a second glance.
Yellow card caution. Navigation to the referee.
It is Williams who is the recipient of the game's first yellow card tonight. It's also Williams who cuts out that pass and sends his side forward. Here's Kasim. Kasim trying to play it through to right. Nicely done by Graham Smith to get a boot to it. Culbertson working forward against Chester. Tries to get it through him. Chester does well to win it back. Aggie in. Sends it towards Johnson. Kobayashi brings it down. Maybe time for one more attack for either side as Kobayashi and Johnson weren't quite on the same page.
And CFC doesn't look like they're in too much of a hurry to get this ball back in play.
Long throw, finds Iwalu. Here's Chester. Tried to flick it through, got maybe the arm of Culbertson, but the referee lets play move forward. Right, applying pressure to Guillen. Guillen keeps it in play, as does Mell. But Kasim takes it off the touchline. Or did he? No, it was out of play. Legion get a throw. Prosper takes it quickly. Here's Kasim. Leaves it for Culbertson. Culbertson gets it back from Kobayashi. His left-footed ball towards the back post. Williams got a head to it, but couldn't quite direct it on goal. And that should just about be all for our first 45 minutes. It is. There's the whistle from our referee. And we have officially finished a scoreless first 45 between Birmingham Legion and North Carolina. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been a fun match to watch. No goals so far, but both teams have played well. There's been some real ebbs and flows where one team has had possession for long stretches, then the other. I think both teams probably go in reasonably satisfied, but overall, I think Birmingham Legion have to be happy. They didn't give up an early goal. They've dominated possession slightly throughout the match. They've won an awful lot of balls in the air. Again, I think both teams probably find some things to be positive about. I'm sure there'll be one or two adjustments that they'll both make in the locker room as well.
As both sides head to the locker room, we have halftime festivities coming up, including an interview with one of our highlighted players in the open of tonight's contest. That is Brian Wright. No score between Birmingham Legion FC and North Carolina FC. We'll be right back after a quick timeout as you watch Saturday Night Soccer in the USL Championship.
At Red Diamond, we've spent 112 years searching the world for the perfect beans. Your search will be considerably shorter. Red Diamond. Expect perfection. Available at a grocer near you. When your taste buds demand greatness, nothing compares to Red Diamond coffee. Unless, of course, it's Red Diamond tea. No shortcuts, no skimping. Perfect's not easy. Red Diamond. Available at a grocer near you.
All right, what's going on?
Very hot down here, hot and humid.
This kind of be a little bit unusual for you?
No. I would say it's still pretty hot up in Toronto area. Definitely can get pretty humid sometimes. So, I mean, it's nothing out of the ordinary, but definitely the humidity is a serious thing down here.
So this past week, everyone really was celebrating 4th of July here, but Canada Day was also the 1st of July as well. Was that something you were celebrating a little bit more?
Definitely. I was back home, got to see a lot of friends and family, see some fireworks here and there, but it was definitely nice to be home for the first time in a while.
I was about to say, take us through a little bit of what a Canada Day celebration is like.
I mean, it's nothing too different from the 4th of July. It's just no American flags, just Canadian flags.
Were there any spots that you had to hit up when you were back home, like any food spots that you really missed, anything like that?
I mean, a couple things like this one pizza place back home.
Okay.
Definitely had to visit that.
Wait, what was special about the pizza place?
It's not so much as I like the pizza, but it's more like the dipping sauce that they have there.
Oh, okay. What kind of sauce are we talking?
Creamy garlic.
Ooh, okay.
If you ever go up north, I'd suggest it. Pizza.
Where are we talking up north?
Anywhere in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a creamy garlic dipping sauce. All right. But you can't find that in Birmingham.
No.
Okay. So what's been your favorite thing about being in Birmingham?
I mean, I'm not too adventurous. I don't really go out and do too much, but definitely the guys on the team here. I mean, we have a good group of guys here. When Zach and I originally first came, they made us feel really welcome. Knew a couple of guys on the team already, so it was a pretty easy transition.
Speaking of the guys, what should we expect from y'all the second half of the season?
Definitely just trying to fix up the entire season. Obviously, the first half wasn't too great. The past month wasn't too great, but definitely just trying to be optimistic and take it game by game and just look to turn it around and make a playoff push.
Second half, right around the corner. Looking forward to it, man. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Cut in. Here's a terrific effort. Blasted back in, and it's a goal for North Carolina FC. What a rip from Connor Presley. As Ben Spees lets one fly and drills it. Slides out the way and in.
The boys in purple have dominated.
Ownby charging on, curling across, that's excellent from Harpenau! His first goal in Louisville College! What a finish for Louisville, they lead! Cicerone, again hitting the cross with pace, Greg! And there's one! The response from Kyle Greg, Russell Cicerone with tremendous service in this second half.
Not statistically kept unless you're keeping a track on mileage. Does a lot off the ball to draw space for his teammates.
Collier weaving his way through. Elliot Collier for the hat trick. There it is! Elliot Collier. It's a great opportunity again here for the Hounds.
He goes for goal!
What a shot! What a goal!
Right to party on the 4th of July. What a wonderful!
And when the emotion starts to flow, everyone starts to settle in. Then you can push forward and press the goal.
Rios! Off the post, hit in! What a missile that is! Goal number 11 of the year in Rios with a phenomenal finish! Jameson can give it a go from there if he wants. Jameson is it back to Billy Forbes. Billy, right foot! Billy puts it in the back of the net!
Welcome back to downtown Birmingham, Alabama. Now you're going to look at Vulcan. Looks over all of the south side of the Magic City with its rich iron history. No score between Birmingham Legion and North Carolina FC. Welcome back, Blake Gardner, joined by Mike Getman here on My 68 in Birmingham and ESPN Plus across the country. Let's get a look first at our scores throughout the rest of the USL Championship tonight. And Mike, it has been a busy night of soccer, especially for one team specifically on the Eastern Seaboard. That is a scoreline.
New York Red Bulls scored enough for the entire league tonight.
Yeah.
8-1 over their rivals, Atlanta United 2. That's a little bit of a surprise for sure. But lots of goals all over. Hartford Athletic 2-1 over Indy 11 on a big night for them, opening up their new stadium. And Charlotte Independence has been on a roll. Good win over St. Louis FC. They've been really good the last few weeks.
Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay just about wrapping up as well. Charleston and Memphis hoping to break the deadlock on the coast there. Coming up Sunday, Ottawa Fury and Louisville City. That will certainly be an anticipated contest for two teams above the playoff line as well. Speaking of that playoff line, let's see who the top 10 teams are in the Eastern Conference coming into the night. There you get a look at the current state of affairs, and you see how big that win was for Hartford Athletic over Indy 11, who were just 5 points behind Tampa Bay Rowdies and have 2 games in hand.
Indy 11's been good all year. The scoreline's a little bit of a surprise, but certainly the emotions were on the side of Hartford in that one. But the Rowdies have been good all year. Indy 11 and the New York Red Bulls both have been, at the top of the charts pretty much throughout. And North Carolina FC has been very good the last month and a half. And so not too many surprises in the way the chart lays out right now.
There you see North Carolina in line to host a playoff game in the first round. Should the table finish in such a fashion as this, Birmingham Legion with a bit of work to do to get above that top 10 playoff line. Here's a look at how tonight has shaken out so far through the first 45 minutes. 7 shots to 4 shots in favor of North Carolina, Mike. It was really the first half of that first 45 that Legion controlled. North Carolina, though, were able to find some footing.
Yeah, I think Legion did a really good job of coming out hard right from the opening whistle, taking control of the match, creating chances, really had the game the way they wanted it for the first 20, 25 minutes. But North Carolina FC is a very good team, and they weren't going to stay down for long. Did a really nice job of regaining possession and regaining control of the match. 0-0, both teams, I'm sure, with some things that they're happy about, some things to work on. Legion, I think probably the biggest stat is losing Chandler Hoffman to an injury early. Certainly one of the best goal scorers in the entire league. That's probably the hardest part of this match so far.
What adjustments were made? We'll find out on the other side of one more timeout. No score between Birmingham Legion and North Carolina FC. The second 45 minutes comes your way next.
BBVA, transforming banking to put the world's opportunities in your hands. BBVA Compass is now BBVA, creating opportunities.
Coors Light is cold filtered for brightness and clarity. The world's most refreshing beer, Coors Light.
There's the concourse here at BBVA Field on the south side of downtown Birmingham. Welcome back. We are just about ready for the second half between North Carolina FC and Birmingham Legion FC, as both sides have begun to make their way back onto the pitch. Both sides still looking for a breakthrough. We've played now a full match and a half of soccer with no breakthroughs for either side. Let's get a look at some of our first half highlights, though. This was the best chance Legion had. J.J. Williams finding the bar.
Really good service. Great job by J.J. getting up over everybody, heading it down. Just couldn't quite get it underneath that post.
Legion certainly operated on the front foot for most of the first bit of the first half. This chance, of course, was their best one, as Williams couldn't quite bring that down on frame. They later lost Chandler Hoffman due to an injury, had to make an early substitution. Meanwhile, Iwalu had a chance for North Carolina, but so far, North Carolina FC have only found the waiting arms of Matt Van Oekel. On the other side, Legion had a chance with Prosper Kasim, but Aaron Guillen and Sam Brotherton, like they have for most of this year, North Carolina's back line has been up to the task. This is the best chance for North Carolina FC. Stephen Miller running onto the ricochet, but Matt Van Oekel, Mike, you mentioned it earlier, has looked very, very good so far tonight.
He's looked very sharp, and that was a great save. You want your goalkeeper to make one or two big saves a game. That's usually what it takes to win. That was his game-saving play right there.
Wearing the captain's armband tonight, and he's kept his defense organized by and large this evening. Femi Hollinger-Jansen's played a big part of that as well. Two sides have switched parts of the park. Now you see Alex Tambakis, one of the best goalkeepers in the USL Championship so far this year. Actually was the fans' choice for midseason goalkeeper of the year. Looks like he's just about ready to go, as are the rest of his North Carolina teammates. Second half just moments away. Referee Luis Guardia sets his watch and gives the whistle for go-ahead. Game on once more. The second half from downtown Birmingham is underway tonight between North Carolina and Birmingham Legion. And we'll see what adjustments were made by each side during halftime. Matt Van Oekel comes out to collect that lofted ball. No changes for North Carolina FC. Birmingham Legion have already made one early one we mentioned. The loss of Chandler Hoffman. Brian Wright remains on the field. As Van Oekel sends this one forward. Williams finds Wright. Wright brings it down. Great touch by Wright. Wright still with it. His right-footed shot denied by Tambakis.
Great control by Brian Wright. Then a great move to beat the defender. Just couldn't quite find the angle to finish it off, but really nice start to the second half for Brian Wright and for Legion FC.
It's a Legion throw from the far touchline. Excellent combination play there from J.J. Williams and Brian Wright. And Birmingham Legion were nearly on the score sheet straight away to start this second half.
One of the things I wouldn't be surprised to find out that Legion talked about in the locker room, they now have two really big center forwards. And so instead of playing everything into feet, as they might want to do with Chandler Hoffman, maybe they'll make that adjustment and serve a few more balls in the air, play a little bit more direct at times, where both Brian Wright and J.J. Williams are going to win more than their share of balls in the air.
Mel sends it high in the air towards Donovan Iwalu. Couldn't bring it down. Kobayashi able to control it. And Culbertson lobs it forward. Kasim is the one making the run. Good work by Guillen to head it out of danger. But Kasim gets onto it and quickly takes the throw. Williams against Guillen. Williams cuts it inside. Cuts it back now. Excellent work from Williams. Can he get the cross away? He does. It finds Aravo, who mishit it.
Not sure he wanted to hit that with his left foot. Bouncing ball first time. Really tough skill. Didn't quite get it right.
Zach Aravo, the 23-year-old on loan from New England Revolution. Playing his first match for Birmingham Legion since May 19th. After spending the better part of a month with Haiti in the 2019 Gold Cup. Here's Chester, who's able to win his side a throw.
Gold Cup was certainly an exciting event this summer. And you love to see your players have success and play for their country. But missing players for a month, month and a half is really hard on the coaches back home who every week are thinking that guy could be helping us.
No doubt. No doubt. Dozens of USL Championship players were missing for a few weeks as their teams competed in the 2019 edition of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Erivo, one of the casualties for New England Revolution and Birmingham Legion, as Van Oekel sends this one deep again. Williams couldn't quite win the duel, and North Carolina FC bring it down, now can quickly work forward with Spies. Out wide, he plays in Stephen Miller. Miller lays it off for the run of Spies, his left-footed ball. Deflected by Hollinger Jansen, and Matt Van Oekel supplies a two-handed punch.
Great decision by Van Oekel, making sure to get that ball out of the danger zone. Again, tonight he's just looked more involved, more assertive in the way he's played. He's really come and controlled his area really well.
Kassim trying to run onto that one, instead opts to usher it out of play and win Legion's first corner of the second half. Right over by that meal fit board. Fans, don't forget, when you're busy shuttling kids to and from school, soccer practice, and everything in between, and don't always have time to cook a healthy meal, many evenings keep you and your family out of the drive-thru with Meal Fit, the official food sponsor of Birmingham Legion FC. Meal Fit makes life easier and healthier with delicious and balanced home-cooked meals prepared for life on the go. Learn more about Meal Fit and order online now at mealfit.co. That's mealfit.co. Kobayashi supplies an in-swinging ball. It's headed just across the face of goal. And Erivo is able to run it down. Here's Johnson. Johnson's right-footed ball, not a bad one. Headed over the end line, a second corner is coming.
Early in the season, when balls would go out for corner kicks, I don't think teams were too afraid of Legion in the air. But tonight, you've got a lot of big people. J.J. Williams, Brian Wright, Femi Hollinger-Jansen, Mathieu Laurent, Kyle Fisher. Zach Erivo is one of the guys being held back for defensive purposes, and he's 6'1".
Another lofted ball. Good head supplied there by Chester. Laurent heads it forward. Williams trying to bring it down with his chest. It falls for Erivo. His left-footed shot is blocked.
Good sustained pressure here from Legion. Every time you're able to keep the ball around the box, take shots, get corners, throw-ins, whatever it might be, the pressure builds, more opportunities for an opponent to make mistakes. These longer moments of attacking, the confidence builder that Legion FC really needs tonight.
Legion still playing with it on the floor. Here's Kassim. Finds Kobayashi. Johnson under pressure, tried to give it back to him. Fisher's there to clean up, though, and play a lovely ball across the park to Culbertson.
Really nice first-time ball right on the foot of Culbertson.
Johnson hacked down from behind, and that might be a card coming for Yamakani Chester, and it is.
Good decision by the referee, and again, showing his consistency. Gave one to Legion right before the half on something similar.
Chester there just got a piece of Johnson from behind.
Knew what he was doing. Professional foul. That's why he got the yellow card. He was making sure that Daniel Johnson couldn't run at goal. Willing to take the yellow card to help his team defensively.
Chester part of a two-man wall along with Spies. 10 yards away from Tango Kobayashi and Kyle Culbertson. It's Kobayashi to take it right at Tambakis, who doesn't allow a rebound.
That was a good 33, 34 yards out, long distance. He hit it pretty cleanly, but really tough to beat a goalkeeper, especially a goalkeeper like Tambakis from that distance.
North Carolina FC want to play it short. Now trying to find Duvernay up the seam. Excellent first-time ball from him. Miller not able to control. Is called for the foul. Legion restart play quickly. This is Williams looking for the run at Kassim. Good work by Brotherton to cut that out.
We're not even 10 minutes into the second half, but this game is getting a little more stretched. Both teams in the first half were really compact and hard to break down, but the game has gotten stretched over 50, 60 yards, and that's definitely going to leave room for more through passes, more straightforward play, and more dangerous opportunities.
Dangerous driven ball there from Miller, scoots all the way through. This is Chester. Laurent is there and supplies a second header as well. Still Chester with another opportunity. Miller heads it in the direction of Duvernay. It looked like he had dreams of taking that on the first time. Instead, just plays it back. Here's Fortune. Fortune couldn't quite cut that one through. Arivo got a piece, and now Williams is moving forward. Beats one man, and Fortune supplies a boot in the back of Williams' ankle, and that'll be North Carolina FC's second yellow card of the night.
A couple moments ago when we saw Matthew Laurent beat Iwalo in the air for a header in the box, I believe they both hit heads. Both of them are still reaching around and feeling their heads and looking for blood. Hopefully they're both okay. They definitely got a piece of each other.
As Fortune got a piece of Williams there.
Not much question about that foul.
Not at all. Miller trying to move forward. Laurent, a prize pusher to Spies, who was able to get it out wide to Chester, the 24-year-old from Southeast Africa. Here's Mill, a right back pushing forward. Finds Miller. Miller keeps it alive, but only over the end line for a goal kick.
I've enjoyed watching Chester play tonight. He's quick, he's dangerous, he's got great feet, really good with the ball. He's been an exciting player to watch.
Blake Gardner alongside Mike Gebman. 10 minutes gone in our second half as we approach the hour mark coming up shortly. Still nothing separating these two sides, although it's been an entertaining one to say the least. Foul given against Arivo. North Carolina FC off to take it quickly and continue to move forward. This is Duvernay. Duvernay around Hollinger Jansen. Couldn't quite get his left-footed ball away, now does so, but Kobayashi is there to cut it off and send it into touch.
Don't shut down though, because then the pressure goes away, right? Stay organized.
Sometimes when you have a 0-0 match, it's two teams both sitting back, just defending, not really looking to take risks and go forward, but that's not the case tonight. Both these teams have attacked, both have sent lots of players forward. It's been an exciting match, even if the goals haven't come.
Throw coming for Birmingham Legion. Fans, you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Birmingham Legion or North Carolina FC and click the follow button. Keep up with the latest news and scores. Let's get reminders on your team's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Brian Wright off and running down the right flank, attracting the attention of Aaron Guillen. Early right-footed ball is into the side netting.
I'm not sure if he was shooting that or just didn't quite get his foot around it, but Brian Wright is causing some real problems for North Carolina. He's as big or bigger than their center backs, but he's got more pace as well. And so when he's matched up 1v1, if he can have a good first touch as he did on that play, he can turn and just simply push it and run right on by.
Tambaka sends it forward. Stephen Miller, unmarked, is able to bring it down and push it forward. Tried to thread it through for Iwalu. Couldn't quite do so, but gets it back. One-on-one against Fisher. Gets his cross away. It cycles all the way through to Chester, whose first touch wasn't quite as clean as he would have preferred. Towards Miller, back post, back into the mix. Kasim gets a touch and Hollinger Jansen sends it away. Still options going forward for North Carolina.
When North Carolina has the ball and goes forward, Legion are leaving both Brian Wright and J.J. Williams up pretty high, and they're 2v2 with the center backs for North Carolina. So it's allowing North Carolina to have a little more possession. Their outside backs are open as they are here, but on the counterattack, it's going to be 2v2. And Brian Wright in particular
Just like
is a
this.
handful.
Here's Brian Wright. He's got Williams to his left. Ryan cuts it inside, gets a run from Kasim. Kasim lets it fly and saved by Tambakis. Williams has it fall for him, and his cross is blocked out for a corner. You called it, Mike.
Well, you could see it coming 2 or 3 times in a row. Legion had left the 2 big men up top, said we'll let you have some possession, but we're going to go quick when we get it. And a really good strike from Prosper Kasim at the end, and another good save from Alex Tambakis. He's been up to the challenge so far tonight, but if they keep letting Legion run at them, they're going to give up a goal somewhere.
Tambakis has 5 clean sheets to his credit this year. He's not about to lose a 6th on that shot from Kasim. It's Kasim to swing in this corner. Towards the front post, headed away by Fortune. Kobayashi brings it down, finds Aravo. Aravo can't quite turn and plays all the way back to Culbertson. And Culbertson opts to go all the way back to Van Oekel. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, the USL Academy, earlier last month. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including in the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. 60th minutes, half an hour to go, plus stoppage time tonight. In North Carolina are going to make their first change of the evening at the next stoppage. Lofted ball over the top. Chester is the only man that was onside, and it's Culbertson who headed it back to Van Oekel, and as it came to be, offside flag was up anyway. First substitution of the night for North Carolina at this dead ball. It's Yamakani Chester who will come off. And it's Nazmi Albadawi, 5'10" midfielder with dual citizenship in the United States and Palestine, who was the first change of the evening for the visitors. So Chester's night comes to a close, and it's the 5th appearance for Al-Badawi.
Chester was fun to watch while he was on the field. Al-Badawi's a little bit more of a physical player. I think he's going to be a little more of an up and back kind of guy. And right now, with some of the transition play we've seen from Legion FC, I'm guessing that this is a little bit of a defensive change for North Carolina, just bringing on a player who's a little bit more of a worker and less of an individual flair kind of guy. As I've heard Coach Sarakin say many times in the past, I think they brought on a piano carrier and taken off the piano player.
I like that. Options moving for Miller, still on his right foot. Van Oekel didn't have to quite get there, but Stephen Miller was able to dribble for quite some time. We're making Al-Badawi the new substitute, sorry.
Trying to have an impact as quickly as he can. Nice little move, just couldn't get his foot around the ball.
Fans, Birmingham Legion FC entrusts the care of its athletes to UAB Sports Medicine Team, and you should too. All of our doctors are fellowship trained and have extensive experience caring for patients of all ages. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a competitive athlete, come see UAB Sports Medicine so we can help you get back to your active lifestyle. Iwalu holds up play and allows North Carolina FC to keep possession, although a heavy touch there from Smith. He's able to keep it alive. Duvernay right in front of the Legion bench. Kasim with the interception there. Here's Aravo, waiting for support, gets some in the form of Kobayashi. Aravo right in the middle of the mix for Williams. Kasim, out wide Aravo. Lovely attack build up here. Aravo's first cross is blocked. Kasim trying to turn, does so, couldn't quite squeeze off a shot as Kobayashi arrives late and hits it first time. Legion opt to recycle, this time up the left flank with Daniel Johnson.
When it comes to attacking, you've got J.J. Williams, Brian Wright, Daniel Johnson, Zach Erivo, Prosper Kasim, all 5 of those guys have scored goals, been dangerous players, are known for their attacking ability. But I tell you what, Daigo Kobayashi has had a great match in defensive midfield. He has held the ball, he's played simple. He's been the guy that sprayed the ball around tonight. I don't know what his passing percentage is, but I'll bet it's close to 90, 95%. He's just been really good. He's played simple. You're not going to notice him a lot, but he's had a really good game so far.
Oldest man in the lineup tonight for North Carolina FC is Stephen Miller, 29. Daigo Kobayashi is 36.
He'll feel it tomorrow, but tonight he's running around like a young man.
He's been solid for Legion in midfield, no doubt about it. Daniel Johnson trying to play over the top in the direction of Brian Wright. Duvernay couldn't quite head it out of play, and Wright's able to run it down. He'll leave it for Hollinger Jansen to restart play. Here's Kasim. Kasim, lovely footwork there, cuts it inside, a bit physical from Smith, but he did well to get Kasim off the ball.
Really good defending. Kasim had the advantage in quickness and touch. Smith said, well, I'm just going to give you a little bump. Not enough to get the foul, but enough that you can't play the ball cleanly. Good defending.
Here's Stephen Miller now. Lays it off for Al-Badawi. Out wide, looking for Spies, but Spies knew the flag was going to rise up against him.
He had run off sides rather than come back and touch the ball and give a free kick. Let it go out for a throw-in deep in the corner. Good, smart play by Spies.
Kasim towards J.J. Williams. And a foul given against Timmy Bell. Each side still with 2 changes to make as we enter the 66th minute. See how each coach opts to use those 2 changes. As we get a second look at the foul called against Mel. Legion restart play. Williams did well to play that ball. 1-on-1 against Guillen. Tried to beat Guillen around the end line, but in the end couldn't quite do so. Fans, don't forget this is the Summer of Soccer here in downtown Birmingham, presented by Pepsi and Birmingham Mountain Radio, and it continues next Saturday, July 20th here at BBVA Field when Birmingham Legion FC host Atlanta United 2 at 7 o'clock. Come early, enjoy festivities in the pregame plaza beginning at 5:30, and cheer on Legion FC. Get your tickets today at bhmlegion.com or on the Legion FC app. That's next Saturday, July 20th here at BBVA Field at 7 o'clock. Legion against Atlanta United 2. Who are going back to the drawing board, I would imagine, after their result earlier this afternoon against New York Red Bulls 2.
I was looking forward to that match before the games tonight. Watching Atlanta United 2 with some good young players and some players that we've seen at the youth level here in Birmingham at various tournaments and matches over the years. I was already looking forward to it, but the way Legion have played tonight, this one's not done yet, but it's been a really good performance so far. So I'm excited to see them play again. And then Atlanta United 2 giving up 8 goals tonight to New York. It certainly makes me want to see their next match as well.
Good bit of defending there from Fisher. Job not done yet, though. Erivo with a hard challenge. Referee allows it. And it thwarts the North Carolina attack. Erivo trying to play give and go with Wright, but Guillen is over. Here's Spies trying to turn against Hollinger Jansen. Foul given.
Yeah, not a bad foul there by Femi. He'd gotten a little over anxious trying to win the ball, got spun, and made a good decision to take his man down rather than let him turn and run at the defense.
North Carolina switched the play after the restart. Out wide for Timmy Meal, making his first career start tonight. Fullback has done well.
He's had a good match tonight. Once or twice, especially in the first half, he had a shaky moment. gave a ball or two away when he didn't need to. But for a rookie coming into a tough place to play, he's had a pretty good game so far.
Arivo plays out wide. Femi Hollinger-Jansen's got plenty of time and space down the right flank. Here's Hollinger-Jansen, his early ball over the head of Prosper Kassim. The shortest man in Legion's attack right now, not quite able to climb the ladder and get that one.
Yeah, I don't think that was quite where Femi meant that ball to go. Prosper Kassim would have had to have been about 7'8" in order to reach that one.
Arivo goes down after a tough challenge there with Fortune. Referee waves play on as Arivo remains on the turf. And it looks like Legion are going to have to play this one into touch to check on their midfielder. Second time tonight, we've had an injury stoppage for a black shirt down. The first half, it was Chandler Hoffman who was unable to continue. This time it's Zach Arivo who comes up holding his left ankle. This one doesn't look nearly as serious as Hoffman's injury as Arivo is helped to his feet.
Both teams are taking advantage of this break to get some refreshments. It's not a very hot night by Birmingham standards, but it's very humid. We had a lot of rain earlier today. This field drained really well, but the humidity in the air is really sticky. Both sets of players happy to take a little moment to get some liquid refreshment.
North Carolina FC about to make their second change of the night, as Timmy Mell, the fullback, will come off and Robert Christo will replace him. 25-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri, three-time All-American at SLU. As you see Dave Sarachan give a bit of encouragement to his young fullback. Job well done, 69 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you have a young player like that. It's been a tough match. He's played well, but making sure that the last thing he's hearing is what the coach wants him to remember. Good opportunity and well done by Coach Sarachan, making sure that his voice is the final one in the ear of Mr. Mell.
So Christo comes on. It's an offensive substitution for North Carolina as Christo takes his place near the top of this North Carolina FC formation. This is his 11th appearance off the bench this year. The super sub with a couple of goals and an assist so far in 2019. Here's J.J. Williams. Lovely touch there to find Kassim with space in midfield. Here's Brian Wright. Wright, a right-footed effort, and Bacchus goes down and doesn't allow a rebound as Williams was lurking.
It was a good save, but holding on to that ball was really impressive. If that ball bobbles even just a little bit, it was going to find the back of the net. Tambakis has had a good night, and that was a great save and a great job holding on.
Legion have challenged Tambakis a couple of times in this second half. He has been more than up to the task so far. Good switch of play, finds Duvernay with space. Duvernay's left-footed ball near the top of the area. Laurent sends it away from danger. Now can Legion spring the counter? Wright, high up the left side, is onside. It's 3-on-2 right now. Black shirts against white shirts. Here's Wright, still Brian Wright, and well done by Guillen to deny Wright and keep it in play.
Guillen did a really good job defensively. Not just that he was 1v1, but first he cut off the pass so Brian Wright couldn't play the ball into the middle, and then he defended him really well. Didn't allow the shot on goal. Good defending.
Christo holds off Kyle Fisher, at least for the moment, near the corner flag. Now lays it off for Iwalo.
Kyle back in, Kyle!
Iwalo for Miller. Now Fortune. Legion win it back. And a late whistle stops what could have been a Legion counterattack. And it's a referee, Luis Guardia, talking to Ben Spies.
Yeah, I think Legion would have preferred that ball be allowed to play on, talk to the man later on. Don't stop a good counterattack just to have a few words.
Second sub of the night for Birmingham Legion as Mikey Lopez will come on for Prosper Kasim. One midfielder for the other.
Normally you'd say this is a defensive substitution because Mikey Lopez has been a defensive midfielder most of the season, but I actually think this is an attacking move. Mikey's been maybe the most dangerous player the last 2 or 3 games of the season, and so I don't think this is defending. I think this is, let's put on a guy who's got lots of energy, who works his tail off, and who's been really good going forward the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Lopez has 2 goals and an assist over his last 6 contests. And a man with North Carolina roots, the former Tar Heel himself. Duvernay able to keep it in play along the touchline. Cuts it back inside. Fisher fights it off of Christo. Jansen just couldn't quite play through. J.J. Williams. Fans, don't forget you can find all the Legion FC information in one place. That's the Legion FC app, available on both iOS and Android platforms. The Legion FC app is available for download today. The Legion FC app, the only app that says hammer down. 75th minute from downtown Birmingham, Alabama. Still scoreless between Birmingham Legion and North Carolina. Been an entertaining night of soccer so far this evening, but still nothing separates the two sides. As Mikey Lopez finds himself getting a stir and talking to mere moments after coming on for not allowing North Carolina FC to play that quickly.
2 or 3 times in the last couple minutes, the referee's been having a word with players. Overall, he's done a nice job of letting the game flow and not interrupting the play too often. But he's seen something that he thinks he needs to get a hold of to make sure he keeps control of this match.
Laurent lets that sail all the way back to Mac Van Oekel as Christo was trapped in an offside position. Each side with one final change to make, should they utilize it. All of Legion's substitutes still warming up. North Carolina with the majority of their men on the bench for the moment at least. Williams able to keep it, but can only play backwards in the direction of Kyle Fisher. Fisher across the way, finds Culbertson.
What a great first touch. That ball was driven 60 yards on a rope. Kyle Culbertson, one little touch, just killed it dead at his feet. Really nicely done.
Lopez looking for Johnson, nicely done by Brotherton. And now North Carolina can control. Smith does well to pick up his head and find Spies. And Spies, a former Tar Heel as well, connects with his one-time arch rival Duvernay, who spent his time at NC State. Ball over the top, looking for Iwalu. Culbertson got his head to it. And Olinger Jansen is able to clear it, but only as far as another white shirt. Here's Stephen Miller. Miller's ball into the area. It's a good one. Van Oekel with a fantastic save to keep us level.
That was a big save. Again, he made one great save early in the first half. Comes up with another big one there to keep this game even. He hasn't been called on a lot in the second half, but that was another big, big save from Matt Van Oekel.
Robert Christo not sure how this stayed out. Van Oekel with a reaction two-handed save.
And I'm not sure everybody would notice it, but Kyle Fisher laying on the ground under pressure, headed that second ball back to Van Oekel to keep control of the ball. Very, very calm play by Kyle Fisher laying on the ground.
Nervy moments for the Legion back line, but they have not broken to this point. Best chance North Carolina FC have had here in this second half of action. Williams against Duvernay. Got it through his legs, but couldn't quite keep it. Williams again, threads it through to Arivo. Back out to Johnson. Lovely work in tight spaces here. Can Johnson run onto it? He does. He's taken down, but it looked like a clean challenge from Brotherton.
first half of this game, teams kind of split possession. First 15, 20 minutes, Legion had a lot of the ball. Next 20 minutes, North Carolina had a lot of the ball. This second half, North Carolina's had much more of the possession, but Legion have been very dangerous on the counter. They've gone forward quickly, and they've created more of the dangerous opportunities.
Here's Aravo now. His ball is headed away by Brotherton. Legion certainly pushing numbers forward in droves. Kobayashi trying to pick out Brian Wright. Wright brings it down. Wright puts it in! Brian Wright with his second goal in Legion black and gold, and he's given the home side an advantage with just 12 minutes left.
It was an inch-perfect pass from Daigo Kobayashi, and Brian Wright, great composure bringing that ball down in the box. Not every player is going to take a touch there. We've seen Brian do exactly that earlier in the season to score a very similar goal. Great composure, great touch, and a wonderful finish to take the 1-0 lead.
Fire up the Forge here in downtown Birmingham, Alabama. Finally, almost 2 complete games of soccer between these two sides, and we have a breakthrough from the deadlock thanks to Brian Wright.
And it was a great goal. You can see Daigo looks up, plays a perfect pass to Brian, who has a fantastic first touch off the chest and just passes it into the goal with his right foot. Nothing that Alex Tambakis was going to do with that one. Perfect finish just inside the post.
Legion have the lead and the late going. Now can they make it stand up? North Carolina in an unfamiliar position, playing from behind. Now in the 80th minute. And what a find over the top it was by Daigo Kobayashi.
He's had a really good game. He's connected so many passes, and that one really the key pass of the game. Perfect ball to Brian Wright. Beats the whole defense with one pass. And Brian Wright has the composure and skill to finish it off.
Kobayashi finds Lopez after a North Carolina attack. And once again, the counter might be on here for Legion. How quickly do they move now? On the front foot and up a goal. Johnson surveys, cuts it back inside, plays out wide for Kyle Culbertson.
This is the hard part for coaches. Your team is really playing well. You're on the front foot. Everything's going your way. You want to keep attacking and find that second goal, but you also don't want to give anything to the other team. You don't want to get stretched. You don't want to send players forward and get caught on the counter yourself. And so Coach Sohn's going to have to figure out, does he bring Daniel Johnson back a little bit? Does he ask Mikey Lopez to come back and be a second defensive midfielder? Or do we just keep attacking like they're doing right now and going forward and creating chances?
Kobayashi and Johnson out wide to J.J. Williams. Williams towards the back post, well over Brian Wright. Right after the goal, North Carolina FC made their final change of the night. And brought off Fortune. They've brought on Austin DeLuz. The Wake Forest product is the third and final change. Birmingham Legion are readying their third and final change as well, as it looks like Eddie Apoku will come on. Williams trying to cut it inside, dispossessed by DeLuz, but only all the way back into the Legion defensive half. There you see the change on your screen. Trey Fortune gone, Austin DeLuz in. DeLuz recently returning from a left ankle injury. Has certainly been an impactful player for North Carolina FC on and off the field. He's on the ball here now. This is out wide to Iwalu. Lays it off for Miller. Smith back out wide, Iwalu again. North Carolina with 3 bodies in the box right now. Driven ball towards the top, laid off for Miller. Excellent combination play here. Shot deflected, only as far as Iwalu. His cross is cut back and sent away by J.J. Williams. Well off his line is Tambakis, who heads it away from Brian Wright.
Matthew Laurent with a key tackle right at the top of the box to get that ball out of danger. Big play for Legion FC right there. They've got about 8 minutes that they've got to manage here. They can't just sit back and let North Carolina come at them. This is a very dangerous team. They've got to find a way to get possession, move the ball quickly from side to side, make this North Carolina team chase them.
Legion will use this dead ball here to make their third and final change tonight. Eddie Opoku will come on. Daigo Kobayashi will come off. The 36-year-old has had a very, very good showing tonight.
If I was going to pick a man of the match, Daigo Kobayashi would be my man of the match. Been a great passer, solid defensively, obviously has the assist on the goal. I'm confident that they're going to bring Mikey Lopez back, or Zach Erivo perhaps into the defensive midfield and push Eddie Opoku up a little bit higher and let his quickness and energy be an attacking force.
Referee tells Kyle Fisher to restart play. As Daigo Kobayashi got a very warm reception from the home crowd tonight for a job well done.
Opoku has gone way up high, and Mikey Lopez has held, as has Daniel Johnson, so it almost looks like 3 defensive midfielders right now, and Eddie Opoku with a little bit more space to run around in the attacking midfield role.
Lopez trying to turn, could not, but finds Hollinger Jansen. Johnson under a lot of pressure. North Carolina FC trying to press the ball away. They can't. Here's Lopez early to Opoku. Opoku's first touch is in the area. Now wide to Daniel Johnson. Right-footed ball was over the top of Williams and sent away by Miller. Great job by Walu to track back and win possession for North Carolina. Erivo runs down the loose ball and opts to play all the way back to Van Oekel. Fans, don't forget to tune into ESPN3 on July 17th at 6 o'clock Central Time for Wednesday night soccer, when North Carolina FC aims to stay near the top of the East, while USL newcomers Loudoun United look to continue their ascent to a playoff spot. See it all July 17th at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time on ESPN3. Less than 5 minutes to go, plus stoppage time from BBVA Field tonight. Both teams out of changes. North Carolina FC chasing a goal to try to steal a point on this road trip tonight. Miller under pressure from Culbertson. Plays it back towards Smith. Out wide for Awalu. Lopez goes in hard. Can't get the ball off Awalu, who still has it at his feet. His right-footed ball is dangerous. Towards the back post. It's run bound by Deleuze. Here's Duvernay. Van Oekel comes out and collects.
Again, Matt Van Oekel coming up big, controlling his area. Earlier in the season, I'm not sure he comes and gets that ball, but tonight he has claimed everything that's been served anywhere near him and held on to it nice and cleanly.
Arguably the best game he's played this year, Matt Van Oekel, Birmingham Legion captain. Another man who has shown well tonight. Williams able to bring it down. Against pressure from Smith. He shakes off Smith and moves forward. It's still the big man, J.J. Williams. Williams lays it off for Brian Wright. Wright tried to get it back to him. It goes all the way through to Johnson.
Cross was just a little high, but it landed at the feet of Daniel Johnson.
Brotherton heads it towards the sideline. And it rolls into touch for a Legion throw. And the clock continues to tick. Right now against the wishes of North Carolina FC.
Legion FC will be happy to just keep this ball in the corner. They don't need more goals. They don't need more anything. They just need the time to tick off.
Laurent towards Hollinger Jansen. Christos supplied the pressure. Bacchus can come out and get this on the edge of his area, but he can only head it away. More time ticks off here.
At first, Eddie Opoku wasn't going to go challenge that ball. Then he realized if he goes, there's not going to be much Tambakis can do. He had to head it out of bounds. Again, another 30, 40 seconds ticks off the clock. Another corner kick for Legion. Again, I'll be surprised if they serve this ball in. I would expect Brian Wright or J.J. Williams just come over and hold the ball in the corner.
Poku, the 22-year-old from Ghana, the 32nd overall pick by Columbus Crew in last year's Super Draft. This is his 13th appearance for Birmingham Legion as he tries to hold off two defenders near the corner flag. And some aggressive play there is going to draw the ire of the linesman by Ben Spees.
Usually it's one of your bigger guys that you'll put on the ball in the corner and let him just shield it from everybody. Eddie's not the biggest player on the field, but he does a nice job, has a good touch.
As we get a second look on our screen, and it was that last aggressive kick by Spees that drew the flag of the nearsighted linesman, Zach McWhorter. Legion take the free kick short once again. Brian Wright fought off the ball. North Carolina send it forward towards Christo. And Laurent sends it all the way back to Matt Van Oekel. No indication yet from the fourth official as to the nature of how much stoppage time there will be.
We've had a goal. We've had 2 yellow cards, I believe, in this half. We've had a couple of injury breaks. We'll see how much he puts on the clock here.
Van Oekel collects that early ball as well. Early indication from down below looks to be 3 minutes of added time. As we enter our 90th minute. A late goal so far from Birmingham Legion, the difference. And North Carolina find a goal of their own late. It's the captain, Stephen Miller. Iwalu inside a throw, takes it quickly, finds Deleuze. Deleuze can't quite connect. And Legion will take this goal kick nice and slowly. Michael Smith is our fourth official tonight as he readies his board. He shows 3 minutes, 3 minutes of stoppage time. It is brought to you tonight by UAB Medicine. So a minimum of 3 as we are about 20 seconds into our 91st minute of action tonight. Van Oekel's goal kick sails out of play. North Carolina trying to restart quickly.
North Carolina's going to have enough time for 1 or 2 more chances. But so far, Legion have done a really good job of just not letting them get anything going, not letting them sustain possession, not letting them get their team forward and into the attacking third of the field.
North Carolina FC came into the night unbeaten in their last 8 matches. Wins or draws over their last 8. Their last loss, and one of only 2 so far this year, was against Ottawa, north of the border, back on May 12th.
If you just look at the league table, you'd say that this is a big upset, and how is it possible that Legion have beaten the number 4 team and one of the early favorites to win the league. But if you've seen the games and you've watched this Legion team play, this isn't a fluke, this isn't unusual. They haven't played that much differently than what they've done all year long. They've had a lot of possession in every match. They've created chances in every match. The difference is that tonight Brian Wright had a great first touch and finished one ball nicely, and so they're going to come away with the W, but it hasn't been that much different performance from what we've seen almost every game of the year.
Lopez went down and was fouled from behind by Stephen Miller. And then Zach Erivo went down behind the play, dealing with what appeared to be a cramp in his right leg. Or maybe his left leg.
Zach hasn't had as much time in training with this team, coming off of the Gold Cup. And I'm sure in this humidity, playing a full 90 minutes, he's certainly feeling it. He's a little bit dehydrated, but he is back up and ready to go. And I don't think he's too unhappy letting a few moments tick off this clock either.
Fourth official Michael Smith is talking to Dave Sarachan about how this will not impact the amount of stoppage time that we have as Erivo now comes back on.
And I know where Dave Serikin is coming from. Those are frustrating moments, and the referees always tell you, don't worry, we're going to put time on the clock, but they never seem to give you as much as ticked off. And so they may add another 20 seconds on the clock, but at least a minute went off since Zach Ervo sat down.
Tambakis had to come well off his line to keep that away from J.J. Williams. We're into our 94th minute tonight. Over our minimum of 3 minutes of added time. Chance of blow the whistle from across the way, as a yellow card is going to be assessed to Brian Wright, it looks like, for time wasting.
He'll take that card all day long. Yellow card doesn't mean anything. The W is everything that Legion wants. Letting time tick off the clock, wasting a few moments here or there. That's all that Legion care about right now. They're going to come away with this win after a great performance. Some really good soccer. They played aggressively, they played positively, they got it in the attack, and they got the goal that they've so richly deserved.
Corner coming for Legion. Will in all likelihood be taken short. That's exactly what Johnson does. North Carolina win it back. Maybe time for one more attack if North Carolina can regain possession quickly, depending on how much time is left on the watch of Luis Guardia.
Little surprised that Tambakis played that ball short.
Yeah.
You don't have much time. He had an opportunity to drive it up the field. Instead, he's put his defenders under pressure, and I don't think they're going to get another chance in this match.
Brian Wright headed for the corner, shoves off a defender and is called for the foul.
Crowd's not going to like it. The referee saw Brian Wright's arm come out and shove the man away, but Brian's a big man and gave the referee an opportunity to make the call, but it isn't going to make any difference tonight.
There's the final whistle from our head referee tonight, and Birmingham Legion with a big win over one of the top teams in the table, North Carolina FC, by a 1-0 final scoreline tonight, thanks to that man, Brian Wright.
Great crowd tonight, great match, played really well by both teams. If you just like soccer, you saw a really good game tonight. And obviously for the home fans, a great finish, great way to end the evening.
Fourth win of the year for Birmingham Legion FC, the expansion side. Pick up another win in front of the home crowd in downtown Birmingham this evening. Just the third loss suffered by North Carolina FC, their first in 9 matches. So a tough road trip to the Deep South for North Carolina FC, but a great performance from the home side, Birmingham Legion. 1-0 our final scoreline. We'll take a timeout, wrap things up when we return to BBVA Field in downtown Birmingham in a moment.
At Red Diamond, we've spent 112 years searching the world for the perfect beans. Your search will be considerably shorter. Red Diamond. Expect perfection. Available at a grocer near you. When your taste buds demand greatness, nothing compares to Red Diamond coffee. Unless, of course, it's Red Diamond tea. No shortcuts, no skimping. Perfect's not easy. Red Diamond. Available at a grocer near you.
Welcome back to downtown Birmingham. The Magic City was a magical place tonight for Brian Wright, and he provided the finish and the difference between these two clubs. Final scoreline: Birmingham Legion 1, North Carolina FC 0. Let's take a look at the upcoming slates for both of these two clubs as they hit the second half of this USL Championship season. Tough way to start for North Carolina FC. Birmingham Legion, though, starts it on the front foot. Here's a look at what North Carolina's got coming up. We mentioned that ESPN3 match against Loudoun United before a tough trip to Pittsburgh. And then 2 home games in a row against Atlanta United 2 and Indy 11, followed by a road trip back to the Deep South, Memphis, Tennessee. Certainly some winnable contests for North Carolina FC to get back on track.
Definitely some games, and if they play well as they've done all season, there's no reason that they couldn't get another streak started and win a whole bunch of those matches. This is a really good North Carolina team. Tonight, they got beat by a very good Legion team. But again, lots of games that North Carolina can look forward to and know that they've got a good chance for success.
On the other side for Birmingham Legion, we mentioned a couple of times tonight, this is the Summer of Soccer, and they've got a couple of home matches that follow this one as well before they have to hit the road to take on Ottawa and Tampa Bay Rowdies and then get the return trip from their rivals up I-22, Memphis 901 FC. But Mike, this is exactly how Legion wanted to start the homestand, to say the least.
The win is big, great confidence builder. Looking into Atlanta United 2, I think they'll feel confident that they can get some points there. Charlotte Independence, they know that that's a match that they can win. And even Ottawa, who they played earlier in the year, I think they're probably looking forward to the rematch there. So a good opportunity to get a nice win streak started for Legion FC.
Birmingham Legion gets the homestand started just the way they would like it, with a 1-0 tough-earned win against North Carolina FC tonight. And Mike, as we get a look at the final stats from this evening's contest, Birmingham Legion were able to cede a little bit of possession there in the second half, but they hit North Carolina FC on the counter multiple times tonight, and it was one of those counters that came through big.
Goal was big, great ball from Daigo Kobayashi over the top to Brian Wright. Statistics are fairly even, slightly to the advantage of Legion FC in terms of shots on goal, shots overall. But I tell you, the statistics that stick out to me, and you're not going to see it here on your screen, but the number of balls won in the air by Legion FC, the number of tackles won all over the field by Legion FC. They won the physical battle in this game tonight, and that's what made the difference in the match. A couple of key moments, key passes, key touches that allowed the goal to go in, but it was the physical play, the physical dominance in the air from Legion FC that made a big difference in this game.
Maybe that week off served Birmingham Legion well, able to get healthy, field what is pretty close to what would be their first choice 11 this evening for the first time in a while, and help them in their attack and help them fend off North Carolina FC, a team that's been so good so far this year.
It was a really fun match. 2 really good teams. It was a physical game, but it wasn't dirty in any way. It was up and back, both directions. Both teams, I think, probably felt they played pretty well. Again, a couple of key moments that went in favor of Legion FC was the difference in this match.
This one's the difference right here. Brian Wright finishes off a lovely delivery from Daigo Kobayashi. The second goal of the year for Brian Wright is the game winner late in the second half, as Birmingham Legion take all 3 points from North Carolina FC tonight. Fans' copyrighted broadcast is owned by USL Productions LLC. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written permission of USL Productions is prohibited. It was a fun night in the USL Championship from downtown Birmingham this evening. For Mike Getman, I'm Blake Gardner saying so long from the Magic City. We'll talk to you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.